our leadership. It's ours and it's yours. We work for it, will for it to happen. It's built, not born. Made smarter, stronger. We work for it as a team. Relentless. We never back down. Reinventing, innovating, entering new arenas.
Hello everyone, as we now are ending 2013, let me just reflect a little bit on the past couple of years. We started having a very big challenge for a couple of years ago on our technology leadership. We had supply issues, we bought market share, as well as we invested more in R&D. All that has happened during the last 3 to 4 years. Now we stand here with assets that are much stronger. Our customer satisfaction has gone up, our technology leadership is better, our service leadership is improving. We have definitely a new foundation. And we now go into 2014 thinking about the portfolio. We want to excel in the core business. That's the mobile infrastructure and the services. That's really what is nurturing us, the whole system, the profit and the base foundation. And we now need to establish leadership in the target areas. OSS, BSS, TV media, modems, IP routers, and cloud. That's areas where we're now allocating more resources, capital, R&D, services, as well as incentives and more sales resources. Here we really need to establish. Then we have the new areas that we also want to develop that is a little bit further out, like machine-to-machine and verticals, etc. However, this year is the year of sales growth. And we really need to orchestrate the full portfolio. The sales force really need to take in all the expertise to sell the strength of our portfolio, both in the core areas and the new areas that we're establishing and targeting. So my expectation is that customer first, see that we use the full portfolio, orchestrate the full portfolio, and then we're going to see growth this year. We really need growth. Thank you.
Hi there. Looking back at 2013, it was really a fantastic year for us. Most importantly, I would say, is we really took a big lift in the customer satisfaction and actually landed above our 2015 target. It was also a really good job across the globe in working with the commercials with our customers, both being much more disciplined when it comes to pricing, and that have really shown in improved profit margins in many of our accounts. But it's also been starting the long and hard work to improve our commercial terms and conditions that especially will help us improve our capital tied up in our business. So that gives us really a strong leadership foundation going into 2014. Now we want to reach for more. We have the basics there, we have the leadership. Now it's about excelling in the core of our business, still so much more to do there. Of course, establish ourselves in targeted areas, but also expand into new areas. This is areas, of course, like verticals, but also cloud. That's so important for all our customers and for us to be able to get into a new territory. Of course, the big importance of growing in these new areas, it will create growth, sales growth. We have been sitting flat more or less over the past 3 years. Now we need to take the step into growth of our business and, of course, profitable growth. So how will we do this? We have a few really important initiatives. Firstly, of course, the go-to-market initiative, where we are looking at ways to really support the organization in driving the growth in new and targeted areas. We are also continuing the hard work on commercials, and here we have now a pricing transformation initiative. That's a global group initiative to support the work with pricing, and that's not only creating a better control of the pricing, but it's also establishing new price models where it's a lot of work with what we call the one software model that's now already is used with BUS, but also now will be deployed in BNet. The third very important initiative, and that's order to cash. There the target is much more to shorten lead times and tie up less cash in our operation. And there is also a number of activities already triggered in the regions that will help support driving this business.
My job here today is talk about what's most important for us, the core business. Do you know how big the core business is for Ericsson? If you look on what Hans Vesper has defined as the core business, mobile networks and telecom services, that's 86% of the net sales and more than 100% of the profit. So I think it takes a little bit more than nurturing. I think it's the most important thing we have. So I will start it up, and I want to say that in 2013, I think we had a great year. You heard about so many things already, but let me give you a couple of more proof points before I thank you. I spent 9 years in Ericsson working with services, and being in products today, I have to tell you, I'm so proud and happy that we have such a strong service organization and such a strong service business. In 2013, we grew for the first time since 2009 our support business. It went up with 7% in local currency. Wow, I'm happy for that. We also had a great development on the network rollout business. It went up from 0 to 7% unadjusted margin. It's not a great business, but it's getting there, so we need to continue to work on it. And in managed services, as been said before, we broke into Reliance, a non-Ericsson technology customer. We broke in, got a huge managed services contract, 5,000 people. And I guess the next step now is we're going to get in there with some products. So great development on services. On the network side then, well, we had many great deals. And you already heard about some of the really good ones, like KDI, for instance, where we broke in with Packet Core. And then we got VoLTE. And finally, we got the radio business. And this is really important. It's one of the most important and profitable accounts for NSN. And now we're going to swap them out the coming years. So important. Thank you all for those achievements. Now the question is, why do we have to excel in the core business? Why is that important? Well, first of all, I mean, you're all in sales. Have you heard about Ansoff Matrix? How you can sell and grow a business? If you go to an existing customer with an existing offering, the sales effort is 1. But if you go to a new customer with a new offering, the sales effort is 8. So of course it's much easier to succeed if you go to an existing customer, an existing business. But then the question is, and I hear this often, no, it's hard to get in more business. It's really hard to grow it on the existing side. And it is. But let's look today on the mobile networks we have. They are built for voice. They're not really built for data. So we did an easy test. If we take the voice networks and move them over to app coverage, you know we need to make the data networks ready for apps. And if we would assume that you would have 1 megabit per second in 95% of the cases worldwide, do you know how much money that needs to be invested just in the radio access network up until 2020? $400 billion. Now I know all of that money doesn't exist today with the operator, but that is the potential. Isn't it easier to get just a little bit more of that business than running into some new and complicated areas. And also, if you look on the core business we have today, that really has earned us the trust and the basis. And then, of course, it generates a lot of money for us, where we can go into other areas. And with a good performing core business, we can do so much more. I know I've talked about one of my dear friends, John Donovan at AT&T. He said he's senior executive vice president in AT&T. I think he has more like 130,000 people reporting to him. I've been in tough times with him, and we've been in great times. I think lately we are in great times. We've been awarded Network Vendor of the Year twice for him. So we asked him to please record some video to us. So please, roll the video. John said, I want you to go out and be the disrupting force in the industry. Wow. This is coming from our biggest customers in the world, one of the toughest customers. And they are so happy with our performance. I think the local team in the US have done an outstanding job. I think the guys in R&D have done an outstanding job. They don't want to talk to us about performance today. We are really outperforming. And he's inviting us now in the next race to come in and be a disrupting force. When he says SDN, he means us coming in and kicking out Cisco. Just to be clear on that. And coming in cloud and kicking out other guys. It's really about changing the whole network. And you can see what happens when you outperform and you do a great work in the core business. That's the best way how we both can earn more money and help all the new and targeted areas. So what does it mean then to excel in the core business? What do we need to do? Well, first of all, I'm so convinced that focusing on network performance, superior network performance will pay off. And you're soon going to hear a case from Indonesia, where we have done that and how it pays off. Secondly, it's about superior performance in the ways we work. It's about handling customer projects in the right way. Are we good or bad in handling customer projects? Well, if you listen to our market track investigation, we were number 1 in the world 2012 in handling large and complex projects. In 2013, we went up 6 points on that scale on handling large and complex projects. And we have a huge gap to Huawei. Now, I know we can have 1 or 2 projects that we don't handle well totally, but we have so many projects we do well, and our customers rate us to outperforming competition. Secondly, if we look on excellence in services, I think we've done tremendously good work, for instance, in offshoring work to the 4 global centers. That improves our cost base, but also standardizes and improves performance, because people that are doing the same thing many times, they get much better at it. If you look on customer satisfaction and customer support, it went up from 72 to 77. Not bad. If we look to R&D and lean and agile, we've done a leapfrog when it comes to effectiveness and performance. You don't see that, but we get much more output for each R&D dollar we spend, much more features. But you have probably seen that we got a much improved quality on our products in the last couple of years. That's due to lean and agile. It's also about how we handle tough situations and what we stand for as a company. Do you remember an outage we had 2 weeks before the Olympics in London a year and a half ago? I do. We had an HLR that went down in the UK. And then on October 12th, the same year, we had the second outage. The network was down a big part of the day. Really tough situation, I can tell you. Everyone was under tough pressure. Everyone asking what's happening. So what do you do then? And we said, how should we handle the situation? And we said, no, we have to go back for what we stand for. We stand for superior performance. We haven't done a good enough job. So we stopped deployment worldwide on this product, despite we could lose a lot of money. We put up a tremendous project to both support the installations we had in field and to fix the problem on the software. Fast forward, more than a year later, How many customers have we lost on UDC? 0. More than 100 customer projects now, contracts that are being rolled out, and the software is ready. Very tough decisions, but we need to go back to what we stand for. And customers must be able to trust us that we do a great job. Sometimes we screw up, but then we fix it. And then finally, about excellence in the core business. It's really about commercial excellence. It needs to be easy to buy from Ericsson. And there we have a lot of work to do on the pricing side, and Jan was into that earlier. So we need to improve our pricing. We need to simplify it, and we need to be able to trust that the pricing gets right. And we have far too many issues with that today. Customers tell us it's too complex to buy from Ericsson. You're never right with the price in the beginning. Internally, we are not really sure is this a good price or not, how we placed. So we are changing all of that. We're going to go from margin steering to price steering. And we're going to make it easier to sell software. So there are many things still we can do to excel in the core business, get some more top line and get some more profit out of it. So if you move this over to how you move this forward, I'm so convinced that focusing on superior performance in our customers' networks, in whatever we deliver and how we act internally will pay off and create the best foundation we have for profitability and stepping into new areas. I think a great example was done in Brazil, done by our colleagues there. It's Henrik, Cam, Alexandre, and Sergio. Can you maybe stand up a second? They did something called the Rabbit Project. We had a problem with growth in Brazil. And so we are concerned, you may sit down, we are concerned about how do we get the business going? And they came up with a brilliant idea. We get one of the operators, Claro, to start change their behavior and focus on better quality in the network. So they convinced the CEO of Claro to go for better capacity, better coverage, and a better quality experience for customers. They did that. They started taking customers from their competitors. The CEO of Claro very happy. His number starts to go in the right way, getting customers very positive feedback. What are the other CEOs then? They're worried. And I met the CEO of one of their competitors, Vivo, a few months back. And he said to me, Johan, I've just come from a board meeting we have had. I just got an approval for an extra capex budget of 1.2 billion SEK because I need to improve the performance of my network to beat Claro. We didn't really could afford it, but we need to do it to compete. So that Rabbit project has created competition between the operators, generating more revenue for Ericsson. I think it's a beautiful case done by them. Showcase for how we should do things. So the core business is the foundation for everything we do. We need to treat it right. It needs its attention. It generates so much money for us. And when we do it right, we can do as what John Donovan told us. We can be the disrupting force in the industry. We're going to kill Cisco out. We're going to go in with SDN. We're going to really target to be the leading player in the market. We can really be in there when it comes to cloud changes. SDN will change so much. I know it will not be easy, but look what we've done with Huawei. They were not easy either. Look what we've done with NSN. We are the clear leader. We can do it in more areas. And the core business is the foundation for it. Thank you.
Learning is critical when we think about sales, when we think about going out there and selling against the best and winning the deals and promoting profitable growth. So last year when I was at the Sales Summit, I talked about the importance of a learning culture. I quoted some stats that said that companies that have strong learning cultures are 3 times more likely to be more profitable than those companies that don't have strong learning cultures. And sales teams that have strong learning cultures get their quota 87% of the time on average, as opposed to the industry average of 47%. So last year we rolled out this ambitious sales excellence sales accreditation program. We set out a goal of 100% of all salespeople and sales associated roles would go through 100 hours of training for the year. So how did we do? Well, we did have 100% register for training, so that's really good. Of course, most of it took place in Q4, but we did have 100% register, but only 10% of CAMs And 12% of engagement managers actually completed 100 hours, which is a little bit like signing up for a gym but not going and working out. So it's really important to understand that it's not just good enough to sign up for something or register for the training, but it's really important to not get obsolete in sales skills. You have to be in sales shape. So this year, we will be rolling out some special things. This year, we are going to talk about growth in new and targeted areas like OSS, BSS, IP, TV and media, and verticals. So there will be competence development associated with that. But in addition, it's also about job role competence for you in sales, including such things as, one, about consultative selling and value augmentation, two, sales negotiation skills, and three, sales coaching skills for managers so they can, of course, help their people get up to speed so they're not doing it alone. And what will be really important is that you focus on your development. You have a development plan. There are some things you have to take, just like you would if you went to university. There are some mandatory classes you have to take, but there are also some elective ones that will be based on your development plan. I wish you the best of learning, and I thank you for all you're about to do and have done for us. Bye-bye.
We have decided how we want to be relevant, how we want to continue to develop as a company, how we want to transform to be that relevant player, continue to be the number one in this industry. It's not easy, I promise you. But I'm pretty certain with the people in front of me, we have a very, very good chance. We have a core business, talked about, everything in mobile infrastructure, radio core transmission, and telecom services. Those are the founding members. They are the foundation for this company. You have done well with that this year. You have worked hard. You have improved the profitability. This is the source of profit for us. That's what is really nurturing the rest of the system for us to develop. Never forget that. Then we have 5 areas that we now are allocating more resources to all the time. OSS, BSS, TV media, IP networks, cloud, and modems. We have chosen them because if we have them in a strength, we're going to be relevant. So what do I want from you? A lot. I'm expecting a lot, as you know. Number one, sometimes we don't talk enough about it. Customer first. Just put the customer there. Be as much as possible with the customer. Bring in as much people to our customers to really see the strength of the company. Then again, excel in the core business. Don't forget mobile networks and services. Don't forget that. But also see that we establish the leadership in the target areas. And then expand in new areas. We have had 3 years of no growth. 3 years of no growth. And I know how hard they've been working. But damn, we're going to grow in 2014. I have very high expectations that we're going to grow. Now it's time to deliver on the best sales force in the industry.
We have a very clear strategy. We have to excel in the core. That's the business we have. That's where we have the leadership. We need to keep that going. We have to expand or establish ourselves in the new areas we have been expanding in. We have acquired companies. We have been investing in R&D. We now have to make a business of it. And of course, we have to expand into new areas.
In a digital age and in a digital economy, everything will be automated. Everything that can be informated will be informated. And every application on the network, if it is an app on a phone, if it is Spotify or a Netflix or whatever, if that application or that customer have the capability to monitor everything you do as a client, they will. And with that information, they will drive their business model in the digital economy. As an advice to you approaching similar customers like me, around the world, is try to get into this under the skin, understand their business. It's not enough that you tell them as a customer, you have to understand the operator's challenge in all this transition. And I'm sure that you will see, you have solutions in this company that can fit into that to be delivered, but it's a very strong advice for you to do that, because this is the reality today about what's going on in traditional value chains.
Winning isn't everything is the only thing, I think, is a saying, it's a slogan, it's a phrase. For us, it's a principle that I think we live by in North America, and something that the whole R&M team should exemplify when you come across them. If I extrapolate that to the room here today, for me, it becomes table stakes that I'm talking to the top salespeople in the company. What then becomes important is to understand that it's about execution, like what this block is supposed to be about. So it's whatever, it's that you guys hear everything that's been said here today, and that you take that back with you, and you make that happen. That's, I think, what becomes the most important thing about the conference.
We have decided how we want to be relevant, how we want to continue to develop as a company, how we want to transform to be that relevant player, continue to be the number one in this industry. It's not easy, I promise you. But I'm pretty certain with the people in front of me, we have a very, very good chance. We have a core business, talked about, everything in mobile infrastructure, radio core transmission, and telecom services. Those are the founding members. They are the foundation for this company. You have done well with that this year. You have worked hard. You have improved the profitability. This is the source of profit for us. That's what is really nurturing the rest of the system for us to develop. Never forget that. Then we have 5 areas that we now are allocating more resources to all the time. OSS, BSS, TV media, IP networks, cloud, and modems. We have chosen them because if we have them in a strength, we're going to be relevant. So what do I want from you? A lot. I'm expecting a lot, as you know. Number one, sometimes we don't talk enough about it. Customer first. Just put the customer there. Be as much as possible with the customer. Bring in as much people to our customers to really see the strength of the company. Then again, excel in the core business. Don't forget mobile networks and services. Don't forget that. But also see that we establish the leadership in the target areas. And then expand in new areas. We have had 3 years of no growth. 3 years of no growth. And I know how hard they've been working. But damn, we're going to grow in 2014. I have very high expectations that we're going to grow. Now it's time to deliver on the best sales force in the industry.
I'm convinced that 2014 will be the year when we excel, establish, and expand. Let's all reach for more. Thank you.